you guys, it's me Crystal. So today I wanted to talk about the planner and the reading journal that I'll be using for next year because this is fun for me. And so I did make these both myself because I wanted to at least try my hand at making the planner myself, and I did make the reading journal myself last year, so that wasn't that big of a deal. The planner was a little tedious. I did find some templates on Etsy that would probably work for me, but I wanted to go ahead and try making it myself at least 1 year. So I'm going to quickly go over what I've been using this year, and then I will talk about what I'll be using next year. Okay. So I will have all the websites that I used in the description box. I did make some of these pages on Pages and then I took a screenshot of them and then uploaded them to Canva. I was having duplication problems with Pages this year for some reason. I used Pages exclusively to make my reading journal last year, but for some reason I was having a hard time with the planner duplication, and because it was just going to be way too much work if every single week I had to make that entire page from scratch, and like duplicating the pages just saves me a lot of grief. So I decided to use Canva, but for the times I couldn't get things to look the way I wanted on Canva, I used Pages and then screenshotted it, uploaded it. It's not as much work as it sounds. It was a lot of time. And it was a lot of work, but I wouldn't say it was hard work anyway. So I will link Canva below, and I will link all the stock photo sites below in case any of you want to check them out. So I use Pexels.com, Unsplash.com, and Pixabay.com for all of the pictures. I did use a couple of the pictures from the stock photo library at Canva. And then I use Lulu.com to print everything, and that's a print on demand website. It was going to be the most cost effective given how colorful everything is. So what I've been using is this planner from Plum Paper, and it looks like this, and it's really cute, and I really like Plum Paper. I did find some more websites that let you customize things, but I couldn't get exactly what I wanted. For some reason, none of the other sites had the entire weekly spread on one page. I don't know why, but like literally no one had that option. So that's why I was either like going the Etsy route or the DIY route, because yeah. So the Plum Paper planner looks like this. And so we start the month off with like this kind of overview pages for like goals and notes that you want to make to yourself. And then we have a 2-page spread for the calendar. And then we also have a 2-page spread for the planner. So the first page, we have weekly goals, and I did get to customize all these boxes. So I picked a to-do box, a reading box, and then this is blank, and then this shaded box is blank for like meal planning or like special events or whatever. And then on the second page, we have a gratitude box, the habit tracker, and then more of the same. And the only thing I don't like about this is that it just gives me too much space. And because I have all this extra space and I feel like I need to fill it up, and then I end up with too many things on my to-do list, and then I get overwhelmed and stressed out. So I mainly wanted less space. And I did have a smaller Plum Paper planner last year, but I ended up with the boxes being too small. And then, so we want like a nice balance between having enough space to write in general, but not having like all this extra space down here that I don't need, you know? But another thing I really like about this planner is that I could add these reflection pages. And so at the end of every month, I could fill out these 2 reflection pages, and that has been really fun for me. The only thing is I don't always have something to say for all of the prompts, and so I needed like a little bit of a simplified reflection page. So let's go through this. So we have our cover page, and I don't know how easy it's going to be for you to see, but like the only downside to using Lulu is that they added like this white border for some reason. And they managed to cut it off completely here and on the sides. But like on this side and along the bottom, there's like this thin white border. I decided that I could live with that, but I really don't understand why they did that because there was plenty of space. for them to cut it out, but whatever. I did try to upload a document that was like a full bleed document, but it didn't read it. Their like computer, whatever, didn't read it as a full bleed document, so they were still adding this border in addition to the extra border that I already had. And so I decided that it wasn't worth the stress of fussing with it to get rid of this strip. And I don't even think you can see it on the camera. I can see it when I look at it, but most of the pages are white anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but it's a little annoying. So we open everything up with a calendar, a year at a glance calendar. So I went this really pretty rainbow one, and I got this off stock for their site, obviously. I was going to make it myself, but I decided that I didn't feel like it. And so then we just have a blank line page. I like to have a lot of pages like this because I like to make notes to myself. And I made this on Pages. Canva did have one, but it costs money and I already made this. So I just decided to use the one that I already made rather than pay for one of theirs. So Canva has like a pretty extensive free for the library, but they also have a lot of paid pictures and they're not expensive, but you don't like own it entirely. Like you only own it for that project. And so since I had two different projects, I didn't want to pay for it for this one and then pay for it again, especially since I had already made this one. So it's not perfect, but I don't think it's that obvious. And I can only see a couple of places where the lines are a little too close together a couple times. But other than that, I thought it turned out really good. So every single month we have a theme and a quote. It's not a bookish quote, it's like a regular quote. And I went with these Avery tabs and I'm really happy with how they turned out. It's clear and it comes with like a printable like insert, but I couldn't figure out how to get that little piece of paper to print on my printer. And I was like, okay, I can stress myself out and fool with it for several more minutes, or I can just print out the template on a regular piece of paper and then cut it out. I have a paper cutter. And so I just decided to do that. And so I printed out two different ones and cut them out and put them in here. And yeah, I thought it turned out really good. So let's go through this. I tried to match the color of the tabs with the color of the cover page, and there's a little bit more consistency with the colors in the planner than there are in the reading journal, but the colors that I use throughout don't necessarily match the cover page. But anyway, the theme for January was color for birds. It was supposed to be birds of prey, but I couldn't find the pictures that I was happy with on the stock photo sites, on the free sites, so I just went with color for birds instead because I wanted colorful birds of prey. Is what I had in my head. But anyway, I think it's really cute. I think it turned out good. So I'm happy with it. And so this is the first page that I have. And we have like this box here. So if there's anything like really important that I want to draw attention to, I will put it in here. Otherwise, I think I'm probably going to leave that blank and just use as things to remember. Like, you know, change the AC filter and things like that. And then I have this pretty colorful, kind of colorful calendar here. And this came from sarahtitus.com. I will also link that in the description box. I started to make my own, but it was becoming very tedious very quickly. Like once I got all the boxes for all the days of the week. So I decided to see if I could try to find something like this instead. So there we go. And then every month, we're going to have a page for our goals and then Q1 goals. And then between quarters, I'm going to have this where I have like a progress report and how my Q1 goals are going. I thought that would be really good for me to like have a check-in so I can see if the goal is working for me or if I need to make any changes along the way. And I just have like this random to-do box. If there's anything, again, I want to highlight that I'm doing this month, I could put it here. Some more blank lines and then some more blank lines because we can't have enough note pages. And then the planner spread looks like this. So I decided for the start of every quarter, I was going to do like a lightly colored background just to give it a little bit of variety. But outside of the top of every quarter in December, everything's going to be blank, which I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. But I thought this way I could give it a little bit of variety so it's not too colorful, but it's not too blank, and there's, like I said, a little bit of variety here and there. So I have a tracker at the top, and then a box for like the main goal I want to work on that week, and then a gratitude box because I like writing something that I'm grateful for every week because it just makes me feel better. And then this is what we have. So I have the week going like this. There were supposed to be bullet points in this top part of the box, but it didn't translate or something when I was taking screenshots and moving things around. So I decided to just leave it blank because I'm like, that's probably going to work out better for me anyway. So I just have a few places to put a few important things to do. We don't need more space than that. I think it'll work for me. We'll see if it works for me. And then for the weekend, there's a little bit less space. Not a lot, just a tiny bit less space. And then there's just this random empty note box for me to write something, whatever I want to write down in there, wherever I feel like. And then at the end of every month, I have a reflection page. It's just one page. And I got these questions from like different sites all over the internet. Most of them are like yoga related sites, meditation sites, things like that. I'm not going to link any of those sites because I didn't keep track of them. And a couple of the prompts are questions that I specifically wanted to answer. A couple of them came from my plum paper planner, and then the rest of them came from a couple of, or 3 or 4 random sites on the internet when I was looking up. I think I Googled like good end of the month or end of the year reflection questions. So at the very top, we have this month in a word. So just a word that just kind of encapsulates how I feel about the month. It was great. It was exhausting. It was hopeful, whatever. And so then I have 3 things I accomplished, and then what goals did I not meet and why, and then how can I succeed next month. And then this is my favorite question, is there anything I'm doing that's not working for me? Because I just feel like that's something that would be really helpful for me to reflect on more often. Because if I'm doing something and it's not working for me, then this is a nice reminder to like stop doing that thing. And then this next one, is there anything I want to do that I'm not doing? I also really like that question when I saw it, because if there's something I want to do that I'm not doing, let's do more of that thing, you know? And then I have favorite part of the month, and this came out of the plum paper planner, but they had like a different line for all these different things. So like favorite thing watched or read, you know, food you ate, whatever. And I'm like, sometimes I don't have something to put on a line because it's like favorite place that I went, and I'm like, well, I didn't go anywhere, you know, like I just went to the bookstore or whatever. So I just had favorite part of the month. So for example, place I went, book I read, recipe I made, etc. You know, anything I want to highlight, or any couple of things I want to highlight here that was like the best part of the month. And then I have a wellness check. So how am I feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, emotionally, physically, creatively, and health-wise? I thought these would be good points to like check in with or whatever. Anyway, so then we have February, and the theme was a masquerade. And I went with kind of a purple theme. But this is what the planner pages are going to look like normally. It's just kind of plain with slightly colorful date at the top and days of the week. And that's about it. And I meant for this box down here actually to be shaded. And I could have done that pretty easily, but I didn't think about it until I was almost done. And then I was like, no, it's fine. So then we have this reflection page. And we have this one. And March's theme was like Middle Earth. So we have a Hobbit house, of course. And then there are some months, I think it's every quarter, but it may not be perfectly every quarter. But basically what I have is that some months I have 4 pages like this, and some months I have 5. And so in the months that I have 5, so that every single month starts on the right hand side of the page, I have like this extra like sketch page. And so I just decided to just have like this pretty blank page every so many months. So this is more places for me to sketch or make notes or whatever I want to do with it, or just leave it blank and it's pretty by itself, whatever. And then April's theme is waterfalls. And I wasn't going for like high readability with the quotes. I just wanted something that looked pretty. But I can read everything and I know what everything says. And these are all quotes I've collected this year that I like. That. And the maze theme, I think, was mythology. And this is probably the one I had the hardest time finding pictures that I liked on the free sites. But I did find several, and I'm happy for the most part with how it turned out. But I forgot to show you. For April, the picture I'm using in the background is just this kind of like cloudy, foggy, waterfall-y picture. And then June's theme, I think, was landmarks. So we have that going on. And I really like these tabs. This is going to make it really, really easy for me to flip back and forth between the months. So July's theme is actually my favorite. It's steampunk. And so I actually use a lot of these same pictures. I didn't use the same part of this picture. I think I used the part that's cut off in my reading journal, but it's my favorite theme. Look at that. It's just cool. And then this is the top of quarter 3. So we have this kind of design work going on in the background. And then our reflection page looks like this, which is just, it looks so good. So then August's theme, I actually don't remember what August's theme is. I want to say it's mountains, but anyway, it's pretty. And then September's theme is rainforest. This is pretty. And then October's theme is one of my other favorite themes, and it's carnival theme. So we have this. And then I went with kind of like these colorful palette of feathers. And then another kind of Ferris wheel. And then November's theme was like Renaissance art. I wrote these themes down ahead of time, but I think it turned out well. And then we have this for the reflection page for November. And then the sketch page for November. It's more just kind of oil painting artwork. And then December, of course, it's Winter Wonderland. It is my favorite. And so December is the only time I did something different with like the picture backgrounds. And so I have like a different winter scene every single week because I have a lot of frost pictures that I like because I just love frost. I don't know if you can see this one. I think it's like an icy lake here with like some trees in the back. Icy trees in the back anyway. So yeah, since I have all these frost pictures, I just decided to use a bunch of them. And then we have our reflection page and some more sketch pages for the end. And this starts the notes section. So for me to take any extra notes that I have during the year or just notes that I want to make for my planner for 2023. So we have 2 pages of icy backgrounds and blank sketch pages, and then we have a few line pages, and then we have a 2023 calendar so that towards the end of the year I can look at this and start planning things for next year, and I know what days of the week certain dates fall on, whatever. And then we have this picture for the end. And then I forgot to mention, so I don't know if you can tell, but this thing is pretty floppy. And so to make it more sturdy when I'm holding it, I took one of my old like Erin Condren covers and I trimmed the edge off, and I'm kind of using it to stabilize this so that it's not quite so floppy, and it's actually working out really well. I used an Erin Condren planner for a few years, and I still have an Erin Condren notebook. So I took the cover that I thought I was least likely to want for the notebook, and I trimmed a little bit off the corners and the edge so that I could fit it at the back of this, make it a little less floppy and more sturdy. And yeah, it worked out really well. So next we're going to move on to the reading journal. So I'm going to show you what I was using this year. And so I have this year. And so every single month we have a theme. And November's theme is my favorite. It's letters. And so we look like this. So I had a numbered TBR page, and that has not worked for me because some months I want more books on the TBR and some months I want less. And so anyway, and then these have been my reading wrap-up pages, these little boxes. And I thought this was plenty of space for notes at first because I wasn't used to taking notes, because the previous 2 years I just kind of had like a list of books that I wanted to read and books that I've read from month to month. But I quickly realized that for some books, this was not enough space. And also, these boxes are kind of small, and I don't quite have enough room to write the title of some books out or the author's name when it's longer. Or sometimes there are things that are in a couple of different genres, and I don't quite have enough room. But other than that, this has been working out really well for me. So that's one of the reasons I wanted next year's reading journal to be a little bit larger. I probably didn't have to be larger, probably just needed to format these pages differently, but anyway. And then I've ended the month with my favorite read of the month and some notes on why. One of the things about this reading journal is that I did not have enough space for notes, like not just in general, like I didn't have enough space to write down quotes I like. I only left myself one page for that. I quickly filled that up. I didn't have enough pages for like most things. So I have all these loose papers in the back of this that are driving me crazy, but we only have a couple months left, So this is this year's reading journal, and I didn't show you the back cover of the planner, but it's the same as the front. So one thing I definitely wanted to have in my reading journal for next year are tabs, because even though this has been fine, whenever I want to flip back to another month, it would just be really nice if I could just grab the tab and immediately I'm there. So that's exciting. And again, I don't know if you can tell, but we have the same bleed issue that we have with the planner. But like I said, I can totally live with it, but I do notice it. So it's not perfect. It's not perfect anyway, but anyway. So this is something I wanted to change. What I had for the reading journal this year is the bookshelf look like this. And I just been putting random colors in there, and I realized probably, I don't know, March, that I should have done something different. So what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to have a system. So based on how I rate the book, it's going to be a different color, because I think it would be nice if I could just look at a glance and see how many books I had in each of these ratings. I wasn't going to have a 1-star color, but I thought I should have one in case I change my mind and start giving books 1 star. Because sometimes they deserve it. So we have turquoise for 5-star, purple for 4-star, red for 3-star, yellow for 2-star, and then gray for 1-star. I'm not going to use turquoise every single time, but it's going to be turquoise or some shade of like bright blue. And then whatever shade of purple, it could even be pink, but I'm going to use some shade of purple. And then this is definitely going to be red or orange, and then yellow and gray. But isn't this so cute? So I did a different bookshelf, slightly different bookshelf on each page. And so I picked a different cat, and I changed the color of the teacup on one page and then moved things around a little bit so it doesn't look exactly the same. I forget how many books this is. It's like 90 something. I don't think I'll need more than that. And yeah, I think it looks really good. Very aesthetically pleasing. And this took a while to get the cat to lay on there in a way that looked natural. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. So I can't wait to start using this. And then I have anticipated releases pages. So I'm going to start filling this out probably the end of November or December. I have a digital list of books that are coming out in the first half of the year. And so I'll start writing these in towards the end of this year. And then we have the second half of the year on the back page. So I'm really excited to have that. And then I have just this books to read page. I also had one in this year's reading journal. This is mostly just a books that I think I want to read at the end of the year that I want to make sure I read for the next year. It's not anything I pressure myself to do, but it's something I try to make sure I get at least half of the books if I can. And then before we get to January, I have this just blank page so that I can start the month on the right-hand page again. And this is a quote from Moon and Rising by Lee Bordigo. It says, "I will hunt you like an animal. You will find no sanctuary. You will have no peace." We love a good villain over here. I just love that. And then we have an owl chasing down something. Okay, so here we have January, and I decided to put a quote at the beginning of the month. And the quote for this month is also from Moon and Rising, and it says, "The unseen always felt like the end of everything." I just love it so much. Anyway, so this is a Narnia theme. This is the best I could do with, again, with the free pictures, but I think this looks really good, actually. And then again, we have the Avery tabs, and I matched the color of the tabs to the color of the cover page, and the colors are all over the place, but I think it looks really good. So then on the back side, we have our TBR page, and I found this nice little decal on a stock photo site that I added to the bottom. Most of the TBR pages don't have an extra picture, but some do. And so these are going to be my Reading Rabbit pages. And this is like another light pole in a snowy setting. If you've read Narnia, you know what the light pole is. So yeah, I have a little bit more room. I give myself more room for the title and the author and the genre, and then more room for notes. And then we have a little reading boxes at the bottom. And we'll see if this works for me, but I'm excited to start using it. But one of the things I did want to do is I wanted this background to be a little less in your face. So like, do you see like how this is like very colorful, you know? Sometimes, depending on the color ink I'm using, it wasn't the best option. So I thought we had the color for the border and like a little bit of the image coming through in the background. Some months it's coming through stronger than other months, but I thought this would work out better and give me more flexibility with which color pen I can use for that month. And then we have my favorite read of the month and a list of notes for why, and we'll just print a picture out and stick it right there. And then one thing I added this month that I didn't have last month is a monthly stats page. And some months you're going to be able to see what they say. I know what they say and I can read it, so it's not a big deal. And again, I was going for aesthetics more than readability, but I have these different boxes. And so the first one is pages read, because I thought it would be fun to see how many pages I'm actually reading every month. And then this next one is books read, and then this middle one is number of books that I bought, and this one down here is number of books that I unhauled, and then this last one is number of books that I DNF'd. And so I just thought it would be nice if at a glance I can just like see all this information from month to month. I'm really excited about that. And then I just have like this blank notes pages. So if I need more room for like my thoughts on a book, or if I have like DNF notes or unhaul notes, anything like that, I can put that on this page. And then the last page is favorite quotes. I collect quotes that I like throughout the year. So if I'm reading something in the book and I'm just like, oh, that's fantastic, I can write it down in here. And this is plenty of space. Because like this one page, and this is much bigger, you can see than what I was using last year. This is all the space I gave myself for quotes for 2021. So for 2022, every single month has an entire page. So I went with this quote box with a pretty background, and I'm excited. So February's theme is Masquerade again, because I just love that theme. And this quote is from The Boundless by Anna Bright. This hurts me. But anyway, you can pause it and read it if you want. I'm not going to read all the quotes because that's going to take a while. But anyway, you can see we matched the tab to the color of the cover page. And the tabs are working really well. They're like flexible, they're lightweight. So I'm really happy with them. Okay, so this is our TBR page, and we have like a theater mask down here and like a theater. So my Reading Rabbit pages look like this. I wanted to have variety in the colors every month, because if I had left it entirely up to like my personal preferences, everything would be blue, purple, or green. So this is a nice way to force myself to have some different colors. And then my favorite read of the month, we have another stage, the curtain, and then the monthly stats page, another curtain. And again, you can see on this page what everything says. So yeah, that's nice. And what is this? This is just like a hallway with a chandelier in it that I think is probably in the opera house somewhere. I don't know. And then we have this pretty mask on our quote page. I'm so excited about this quote pages, you guys. I have plenty of room for notes. I'm excited. So March's theme was Enchanted Forest. And this quote comes from The Space Between Us. And it was by Courtney Peppernell and Zach Gray. This was a poem by Zach Gray. So again, I will hold it so you can pause it. You can read it if you want. I love these tabs so much. I'm so glad I added them. It was something that was in my notes on this reading journal to have tabs next time because it's really helpful. But anyway, so here's our TBR page. There's just like a magical doorway in a forest. I don't know if you can see it, but I can kind of see it. And oh my gosh, look at these colors. Isn't this pretty? And we have our favorite read page. This is so pretty. My stats page. And we have my notes page. And we have my quotes page. It's pretty purple forest. Kind of looks like an enchanted forest. And in April, our theme is mountains. And this quote is from A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. So pretty. And I'm really happy I went with a blank TBR page because this will give me more flexibility. And we can always use that. And our reading wrap-up pages. So pretty. Favorite read page. And Canva has this like setting that you can pick out. It'll pick out the colors in the picture. And so when I'm doing the shading, I didn't always use their colors, their color options. Sometimes I wanted like a very specific color, but I used them more often than I didn't to pick like complementary colors for like this box and the border on this box. And also I did change the font color for that. But anyway, I know this is a mountains theme, but it's still so pretty. It's spooky. I love that. And we have this. And then our quotes page, which is one of my favorite pages. So May's theme is going to look a lot like March's theme. March's theme was Enchanted Forest. This is Secret Garden. I thought these pictures were kind of the closest I could get to like what I was going for. I think I originally wanted a poison garden, but I just couldn't find things that matched kind of what I wanted in my head. So I went with Secret Garden instead. And this quote is from Near to Bone by Christina Henry, if you want to read it. And I used this Hobbit house picture from the planner again because it's so cute. And then we have this foliage, and it looks like this. And for the record, I have 2 front and back pages. So there's 12 total. And the reason why I have 12 is because the same reason why I have 12, I have 3 pages of 4 boxes, is because when I went over my reading log from the previous 2 years, the most amount of books I had read in a month was 12. And so far, I haven't needed it. I came close 1 month earlier this year. Maybe I read 10 books or something, or maybe it was 9. I don't know. Still haven't needed all 12, but I wanted to give myself plenty of space every month. Yeah. And then we have this page, which I feel like kind of looks like a nice oasis that you might find in a Secret Garden. I don't know. And this has Secret Garden vibes. And I feel like this says as well, another kind of oasis that you might find in the middle of the woods or forest. And we have this. So June's theme, I think, is mythology. I had a really hard time with the mythology pictures again. It wasn't that big of a deal in the planner because I only needed a few pictures, but for this, it was a little annoying. So anyway, this quote is from The Last Unicorn. And then we have a Poseidon coming out of the water. I also used this picture in the planner on one of those note pages. And then this is a picture I used also in the planner. But I really like it, so I used it again. And we have this, which I think just looks like a pile of rocks or something, which is kind of like the ruins of a temple, maybe? And so, yeah, obviously I was struggling with the mythology theme. I really like all these pictures, though. I think they look really good, but I don't think they all look like mythology pictures. But anyway, it's pretty. It's more important that it's pretty. And in July, steampunk. And I also went with a steampunk theme in July for my planner. I wasn't trying to get things to line up, but this is just happened to be how it fell. And I did add like this strip because it was the only way I could get this quote to be readable at all with the colors I wanted to use. And I think it looks really good. But I didn't want to do it every month, but it looks really good on some months. And this is from Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. It says, she embodied the danger of aspirations, ... I just love this theme so much. Isn't that pretty? Look at this. So cute. And we have this. And this is the other half of the picture I used as a cover page and the planner. And I also color changed it too, but anyway. This. And we have our quote page. And August's theme is under the sea, and so I went with like a mermaid under the sea theme. And this quote is also from A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. It's one of my favorite quotes. Of course, this is from the graphic novel, so it may not be exactly how it's worded in the novel, and I could have checked because I have the ebook, but I just used the one from the graphic novel. And so we have a nice under the sea theme going on. This is one of my favorite reading wrap-up pages because I just love water, blue. Isn't that pretty? So water, more water. And this isn't water, it's more like bubbles and stuff, but it kind of looks watery, and I thought it was cute for this page. And then September's theme is one of my favorite themes as well, and I have like a matrix theme, and it's going to be more obvious on some pages than others, but I thought all of these pictures had like a matrix vibe, and I didn't want to use like the obvious matrix kind of picture, you know, for like every single page, because I thought that would get a little redundant. But this quote is from Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Just very quotable book. And so we have our TBR page. And I really wanted to go with this purple one for the wrap-up pages because I thought that was really cute. And I love purple. And then we have this, which is not super matrixy, but it's one of the pictures that I liked. And so I wanted to use it. And then we have this, again, not very matrixy, but I still wanted to use it. And then we have our notes to self, and then this is what I'm talking about with the very obvious matrix vibes. I just think that is so cute. And then I used not the same picture, but the same vibe, same style, but different picture for the quotes page. So October's theme was Wonderland. So I did the best I could. I ended up going with more of a Mad Tea Party theme for most of the pictures because those were easier pictures to find. But I found this picture of a cat with blue eyes, so kind of like a Cheshire cat. And this month's quote comes from Bunny by Mona Awad. I love this quote. It says, "This place is so beautiful. You find it hard to believe that it's overrun with the insane and the desperate and the lonely." One of the best books ever. So cute. And also, I thought this quote was perfect for this month's theme, you know? And we have our TBR page, and I found this little decal of Alice. And so, obviously, this is like a tea party kind of a thing. It doesn't look very magical, but it's pretty. It's a little obnoxious, but it's pretty. So, I used it as a background. And then we have this neon sign that says "Down the Rabbit Hole" that I was lucky to find. More tea party. And then this sign, this way, that way, go back. And then more tea for the quotes page. And then November's theme is very similar to November's theme in this book. It's like letters and notes. I just like this. I used it. It has nothing to do with the theme, but there we go. And so this quote is from The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. And so here we have music, notes. Is it flowers that I put on here for some reason? And this is probably my least favorite color combination. But again, I wanted to do something different. So I thought, let's go ahead and do something that we wouldn't normally do. And then we have this. And a stack of books with some tulips on top. That was pretty. Like I said, not a lot of consistency with the kind of pictures for some of these, but these are just flowers in a vase. Don't know what that has to do with letters and notes, but I did it anyway because I like flowers. And then we have our quotes page. And in December, again, is Winter Wonderland, just like it is in my planner, because I love this so much. I used this picture a couple times in the planner, but I used it as a cover page for the reading journal. And this quote is from Sex and Vanity by Kevin Kwan. And we have all the winter pictures, which I had in abundance, because I just love frost. So pretty. Look at that. Icicles. And I found this. I thought this was really cute. I think that's like some kind of a fox, right? It's so pretty. Then we have this. And then we have my quotes page. Iceberg in the ocean, icy ocean. So then we get to my notes and my stats tabs. And in hindsight, probably should have gone with a colorful background, but I did this instead and it's fine. So we have my year in review title page. I use this picture as one of the reflection pages in my planner. And so this is where I'm either going to write in or put a picture in. I haven't decided yet, just like I haven't decided what I'm going to do in this year. But there's pages in the back. This year it looks like this. I decided that these little boxes were probably a bad idea. So I decided to just leave it open. So there's probably not going to be more than like 10 bucks on this page, but I wanted to have plenty of space so the pictures can be as big or small as I want. And then we have just this, that's the longest read. I'm just going to write it in, the shortest read, and then I'm just going to write out probably, or have a picture of my least favorite reads of the year. Probably won't be more than like 7. And I didn't leave room for that in my reading journal for this year. I'm not sure why, because I am going to have a list of my least favorite books of the year. But I didn't think about that, so I thought about that this time. And so this is a list of ARCs and DNFs. I don't need a lot of space. I don't DNF a ton of books. Like, I think I've DNF 15 books this year, which is more than I normally DNF, and I am DNF things a little bit more often because I don't want to torture myself anymore. So if I need more space, I figure I can always just write over here in the ARC space. I don't get a lot of ARCs because I don't want to pressure myself to read stuff, and I tend to experiment a little bit more when I'm getting an ARC. So I think this year, I think I may have gotten 5 ARCs this year. But anyway, I want to have plenty of space to write down these books. So there's enough room for 26. And I made all these with the chart creator and pages. And then just added these when I uploaded this to Canva. And then we have my stats pages. And so this I have page numbers, so number of books I've read that are 200 pages or less, 201 to 300, 301 to 400, 401 to 500, and 500 and up. Not going to be a lot of books 500 up. I think there are 2 so far this year. And then I have format. So I have ARC, library, hardcover, paperback, ebook, audiobook, and multi-format. And that's if I read the ebook and the audiobook either together or going back and forth. I just like to see how many times I do that. I think this year I've done that twice. And then I have this same thing I have like this year, male authors, female authors, co-authors, and authors of color. I would have more, but that requires me to do more research than I would like to do. And then we have more stats on the next page. So these are all the genre. So we have categories up here and all the genres here. And there are a couple of genres that have asterisks by them. And so I have another page for graphic novel specific stats. So we have graphic novel categories and graphic novel genres. And I left myself a little bit of room to write in some more in case I run into some more that I didn't think about. And then I have fantasy stats. And so I broke down all these subcategories in fantasy. Except for paranormal. I have a paranormal category on here, but the rest of them, classic, traditional fantasy, contemporary, dark, high concept, epic, historical, portal, urban, and a couple more spaces in case I forgot something. And I just thought that would be interesting, like fun thing for me to keep track of. And then I have a books bought page, and I have 207. I hope I don't fill it up, but I wanted to give myself plenty of space. I didn't mean to have this many unhaul pages. I just used the same chart that I used for my books bought for the books unhauled. And so I ended up with 207 pages as well. So it's a total of 4 pages, I think, 2 front and back pages. I don't think I'm going to need that many. Looking at my unhaul list for this year, I so far have 103. I've unhauled more books than that, and that's just because some books are sharing the line because I didn't have that much space. Like, for example, this last year, I gave myself 63 spaces for unhauling and buying books, which was not enough. So, for either one of those categories. So I just wanted to give myself more space. We want plenty of space. Yes. Okay, so then I have plans for 2023. So any changes I want to make to the reading journal, if I decide I don't want to make my own reading journal, if I do want to make my own reading journal again, any notes I have, I did the same thing this year, fill it up pretty quickly. And that starts our notes section. So we just have some blank pages like this, pages for more notes, pages for doodling, whatever. And then, of course, I have some more blank pages in case I want them. So we have several blank line pages. And then my end page says, Tell Me a Fable. That is a trance song by Robert Miles that I love. So that's all for this video. So I just kind of want to talk about the planner and the reading journal that I will be using for next year because it's fun for me to talk about it and to share. So let me know if you like to keep track of your reading in like a notebook or if you just use Goodreads or whatever. I also use Goodreads, just FYI. I just like to also write stuff down. I like to write. So that is all for this video. And I will see you guys next month. And I hope you had a good October. And yeah, enjoy this last week. And I will see you in November. Bye.